Hello, everybody here on the Anime Misfit channel. It's another episode of CCP, episode 11. I still can't believe we're in the double digits now. I mean, it feels like we kind of like got all the kinks out. I know how to press the live button. But anyway, I am your Chancellor of Chile, your Misfitdom of Misfit, Shannen. And with me, with the host with the most, the eyeball that's now a furry. He's now identified as a furry. Well, not that he's always been a furry. Lamp!
Back in my day, I ought to know about anime.
And tonight's guest is a guest, right kind of from home. He's been here, he's been around the channel before. He's been around the anime community plenty of times. The Space Ghost Coast to Coast drunken Chinese cousin, KAISER TRIGGER! Woo! Oh, that was great. I give that that was nice. I give that a 7 on the execution-o-meter.
So yeah, you call yourself the CCP. Am I gonna get abducted now or something?
Oh God, no, no, not that CCP. No. I mean,
Technically I am Chinese, so I guess being hunted down I'm with the CCP, so I guess I am in prison being given a shot of whatever. I don't know. You see me on the news. I got the virus, man.
Oh God, that's some real awkward shit.
That's some real shit because it really happens to people. They blow the whistle.
Okay, so anyway, KAISER, tell the folks at home who you are, what you do, and stuff.
Okay. I am KAISER Trigger. I don't know why I came up with the name. I just kind of liked it. I think when I came up with the name, I was going through a mecha phase, so I was watching Mazin Kaiser. I was into the Mazinger Z stuff and all that, so just liked it. And Trigger, I think it was a mixture of Trigger Studio and I was watching some Trigger Studio stuff, and probably just the fact that I kind of like to trigger a few people sometimes with my jokes. So, but also, I'm a YouTube editor. I edit videos, sometimes for people. I edited I don't even know if that's the right word. Edited. I did some edits, a few of them for Nuxtaku. I did his 2 first hentai videos, I think, when he talked about greatest plots in hentai. And I edit all my own stuff, so I've never had anybody edit for me, so I don't know what that's like. So, and I mainly just talk about anime sometimes, and sometimes I'll play a video game, but I haven't done that in a while. And currently I am working on a series that will be animated, kind of like how they did Inferno Cop, which was done by Trigger Studio. So it's still images being moved around with some kind of motion blur effects and some green screens on it and shit. So I've already got the first episode done. I had 2 voice actors. It's gonna be a very spicy video, I guess. It depends on how you look at it. And then I'm already looking into doing a second episode, and I'm hoping to collab with a guy called Otaku Daikun, because I think it's gonna be right up his alley.
The whole getting someone to get an editor, it's take it from me, it's
yeah, I know you told me it's hard to keep people around, right?
Well, yes, that part, but it's more like Mike's. I got one time there was this guy. Okay, so I was one time I just need a video edited for this one time, so I posted around, and then this guy randomly asked me from my Twitter, and he normally edits car commercials.
Let me guess. He said send nudes.
No one wants to see my nudes. No.
Okay. At least you're trying to be humble and honest about it, or something.
That's when you cook spaghetti and send a picture of spaghetti.
Yes, that is perfect. The perfect nudes is the perfectly made spaghetti.
Oh, the spaghetti. No, but what happened was he said it was he Middle Eastern? I don't know. Basically, he normally does car commercials. He makes car internet things, and he's like, hey, I can edit this. And he remember Lamb, it was the video, I think it was worst of 2018.
Yeah,
And yeah.
I vaguely remember the time.
Yeah, so we got him to edit it. I paid $40 and it came out dog shit. So we literally added extra month just to
You know, it's funny. It's really funny. Is like if we're talking about editing fails or people can't like edit a video or something. The first video I tried to edit for Nuxtaku was actually a video he uploaded much later, but it was his video about One Piece with Tekking. Tekking 101. He completely somehow fucked up all the audio, like it was jumbled up all over the place. So he actually had to redo the entire fucking thing. So I couldn't even edit that video. So the first video I did an edit for him was I believe his badass lame fights, you know. So
yeah,
that was my first experience with him. But the first time was just a complete total bomb.
Yeah, I get with when it comes to like hiring editors, like it's mostly about like I think it's mostly about relationship and critiquing and like trying to get both people get better.
I mean, it usually, I think in terms of connections, probably because I didn't really go to Nuxtaku personally. I don't know. I asked Unknown to introduce me to him, so the Unknown Otaku, yeah.
Unknown, AnyTube's
AnyTube's drama whore.
I want to say like back alley informant, but
he loves drama. Okay, he fucking loves it. He is a drama whore. No, it doesn't matter how you put it. That's what he is. Drama back alley, drama expert, drama whore. Same shit.
The anime Mean Girl.
The anime meme girl. Oh boy. Oh boy.
No, like Mean Girls, the movie or show.
Oh, I remember
that.
Oh, I know.
I have no idea.
Oh, I know exactly what he means. Yeah, I do see that. I know would be that girl in Mean Girls, in the first Mean Girls movie.
Just so you guys know, even though my Twitter handle is Boozer Cooter, I don't really drink that often. Okay, so if I sound drunk, I'm not drunk. Okay, I haven't had a single fucking drink.
I'm tired. After 3 cups of coffee today, I'm still tired.
I'm amazed I didn't fall asleep. So we're getting there. So like I'm continuing on with the first theme because I don't want to get into the main topic until like a little bit because you know it takes a minute for like people to kind of trickle on in. So that fish thing before we talk
editing
we can talk about. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was like, we could talk.
Hurt my feelings, why don't you?
No.
You crushed my soul.
No.
Oh my God, I'm cutting myself right now as I'm listening to fucking Evanescence or whatever it's called.
Wake me up inside. I can't wake up. Save me.
Save me from this. Whatever. I forgot the fucking lyrics to that song. It is so dumb.
The nothing I've been.
I do like this one. Somebody, I forgot it was this guy made a remix of it. It was like really good. Like it started off as like some kind of like an 80s kind of like techno kind of song. Like they remixed it. I forgot what it was called.
I mean, there's the Gregorian chanting version.
Oh no, dude!
I
would never watch something that was about Gregorian chanting and wake me up inside.
It works though. It
Is
really
Gregorian
does.
chanting that thing with all the bellowing, or am I thinking of yodeling?
That's you're thinking of the one where the guys in the hoods are all chanting in a line and they're all making it sound very nice.
Oh yeah. So like,
there's also you know that one song where they're like, "I become so numb." There's another guy. There's another remix I saw
by the Park of Lincoln.
Yeah, the Park of Lincoln, the Lincoln of Parks. There's a remix, an '80s remix by a guy called Jerry Galleries, I think. He made a really good remix.
80s remixes are becoming like the vogue thing. Like a lot of this like synth wave and. Personally, I'm into Tokyo Future Pop, so that's the weeb in me.
Share that. So yeah, it is really good.
Yeah. So that fish. Can we talk about that?
Okay, I'll talk to you about that fish. Look, so I was on Twitter, all right, browsing. I was actually was asking this one guy about a song he used in his videos. He's this guy. His name's Lando, and he was featured in one of Pyrocynical's videos. So he has this fucking music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he calls it. When I asked him what it's called, I said it sounds like he said generic, play my generic beater music, like he beats the fuck out of his wife or something.
Whoa!
But instead he told me, oh no, it's called beaner music, some kind of Hispanic shit.
Oh.
And I can't even find it. Like every time I look for beaner music, I hear this like that like what is it, like it sounds like your typical like sombrero tossing fucking music. Da 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 da. You know, it's
Yeah.
like,
You mean
and I'm just
mariachi
like,
music?
yeah, and every time I'm looking at beaner music, I can't find anything because this beaner music he used sounds like some kind of jazzy kind of thing you hear, like dun da 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 da. You know, like just like something with like normal jazz, the kind of something you'd hear in Evangelion. You know, like the
Like bossa nova?
like no, like Barefoot in the Park.
Oh.
You know, like that one song that's really played during like more homey kind of home cozy kind of songs, you know, but it's like, you know, I don't know. But so I was doing that. I asked him, then I went on his Twitter to look what else he tweets, and I find out that he tweeted something about a guy getting head from a fish. And somebody reposted the video in question, and this guy had a flish. A flish? What the fuck is wrong with me? God, I'm so fucking tired. I'm so sleep deprived right now. So a flish was this fish was flopping around like a fucking flish, just going back and forth on this guy's hard on. And I'm just like, I was laughing and crying at how disturbing, but how ridiculous it is. Like, it's disturbing, so I'm kind of crying, like, and I'm laughing at the same time because I can't believe there's somebody this mentally deficient that they have to put a fish on their dick. Deficient, yeah.
I know.
Deficient.
I know in Africa they do. I know in Africa when there's not many women around, they do it with horses.
Like I think that's what they do when they fish for catfish using Mentos and Coke or some shit. They
Which
catch
apparently
the fish.
apparently doesn't work, by the way.
Yeah, but if it does work, that's what they're gonna do with the fish, just to celebrate. Just shove your fucking chode into it.
I thought they catch the fish in advance. I thought they catch the fish in advance. Have the fish on the other side of the hole.
If it ever worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably catch it in advance. But if it ever worked for somebody, they'd be like, oh my god, oh ay Dios mío.
I mean, I think it's all just like a social media, because like a lot of people use other chemicals that make no sense in that particular like joke, and people that it's just for show. It's like it makes no sense scientifically. It's not even worth it.
Also, it'd be kind of weird considering that some fish have teeth inside their like esophagus. So like,
yeah, it's like I was thinking, are those teeth like cutting you up or something? Why would you do that?
It's part of the excitement right there.
Oh my god, fucking.
Or maybe
I've heard of thrill seekers, but this is just like this is beyond anything I've ever heard of. Okay, like
it's called getting some shark tail.
The first time I saw a fish on somebody's dick was in Piranha 3D, that movie that
oh my god.
When like they were having
that's how they're trying to recreate it for they're recreating that scene. That's probably what's going on. They're doing a movie.
Oh no, in Piranha 3D, I don't think that'd be really hard to create. Like in that movie, like it's a horror movie, so like they're the two people are having sex in the bed, and the whole thing is that piranhas invaded everything, and
the piranhas invaded her vagina.
Yeah, because she drank a glass of water which had a tiny piranha in it earlier in the movie.
Are you shitting me? You didn't notice a fucking piranha growing in your fucking goddamn vagina? Your pussy coochie is swimming with piranhas and you don't even notice them?
Yeah, and it grew in her vagina, and then like essentially it came out, and then while he was fucking her, it came out of his vagina. It clamped onto his vagina. It just like at the right moment. It's just like it caught.
Like as he's coming. As he came, the piranha came. The piranha just like chomped right there on that stick, and he had to use a kitchen knife to chop it off, to chop his own thing off. This reminds me of two things. Not the chopping the dick off, but it reminds me of two things. Okay, so technically, I guess the first one was I think there was this episode of 1,000 Ways to Die where these three soldiers, three of them were like at night in these woods, and one of them was a little freaky and decided to get a little frisky with the raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
and stuck his dick, where, in the raccoon's fucking mouth. Okay, like
Oh.
Tanuki Suit Mario got his mouth fucked by like some American soldier. And then the second one was when I was on this guy's Discord called Flutterbutter. He oh my god, there was this video people were sharing on there that was of this Japanese porn, I think, or it was like Korean porn or something, of this woman using a condom, and they blended up some fucking goldfish in a blender and poured it into the fucking condom while it was in the woman's vagina, and they started licking it up.
Oh, that's just double fish right there.
That double fish, that is like fucking, oh my god. That is a whole new level of bestiality for me when I saw it. It was like, you're gonna cut up some fish just to lick them from the woman's condom vagina. Like, I just wanna, oh my god. Yeah, so speaking of porn, I've been masturbating a lot, just so you know.
Yes, I can tell.
That transition, though.
And you know why? Because apparently the virus that's been going around, the CCP shit, your virus, mind you, is apparently can be prevented by masturbation.
Who says that?
I don't even remember. It was in a bunch of tweets. Some science showed that masturbation increases your immune system's efficiency or some shit.
Hey, at least it beats drinking fish tank water, because someone told you to do it.
Or because somebody didn't know the difference between the medicine that you would be getting versus fish tank cleaner.
Yeah.
I've also heard people say blue light bulbs are supposed to help with killing they
UV
have
lights?
UV properties. No, people are buying literal blue. Like, I work at a store that sells light bulbs and batteries, and
so the blue kind, the party lights, the kind of stuff
like blue LED or incandescent lights is like, oh no, they're supposed to help kill the germs because they have UV. I want to tell them, like, that's not a UV bulb.
I'm pretty sure that the lights they are using have can give you some form of radiation poisoning.
No, they're just regular LED blue bulbs or incandescent bulbs. There's nothing about them that's germ killing.
I've been meaning to ask.
I mean the ones that they actually use to kill viruses. Like, there's some buses, some planes that have been using them, I think. And some guy did a video about how you would do that. They use some very high-powered radiation from those lights or something, if they're gonna do that.
There's also germ. Yeah, sorry.
I was been meaning to ask. Since you do work at a place like that, did they put a sign saying don't drink, don't eat the thing? Yet.
For what?
Don't eat the light bulb? What?
Look, people do some really crazy things in these times, and I think that that people would.
Okay, so because I'm confused. Are you talking about the light bulb or the hydroxychloroquine that people were taking that was that killed that one guy, that woman's husband or whatever?
Light bulb.
No, our only rule is, or we put two. One was our bathrooms are closed to the public, and two was we reduced our hours, which. Coincidentally, I'm actually going to be shifting stores because they're.
Do you have to wear the face masks too?
No, you don't have to. I mean, they still say you can. There's not saying it's not like they say, well, don't wear them, but it's up to you if you want to wear it. But we do bleach and wipe down. Well, I mean, everything.
It's probably best if you wear it anyway.
No, and I do anyway. That's it's safer, and I have enough to last a while. And they even gave us ones you can wash and reuse, the KN95 ones.
Yeah.
But ultimately, our store is being closed down, so I'm being shipped off to either Shawnee or basically a little bit longer of a distance of drive. They're gonna shift my store, so instead of having this store open, I'm just gonna be part of a different work store. So that's good, but also there's a 5% chance I might just be losing my job entirely. So we're gonna have to find out what that happens this week.
No.
I guess you can apply for stimulus checks or whatever.
Well, I've sent my taxes off and everything, so it should be coming in. But the guy who said they were closing is the owner, and he said he's going to ship me to either 3 different stores a little further away, but also get to keep my pay and my job. But at the same time, there is a small percentage that I may not. So I'm thinking, okay, that's fine. Thank you for telling me this, and now I'm going to have to wait a week before you get an answer to me. Thanks.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
This has been venting with Lamp.
Well, just a concern is all. You know.
So anyways, let's get back to editing. That's
my
biggest cup of tea. So anyways, we talked about the fish, fish fucking. Mm-hmm. So then we talked about your job. So any questions anybody has about editing,
Well, okay, I do. Okay. So.
Go ahead. Oh, and also scripting, because I know that's something you probably need to work on.
Cause I suck at it. I'm working on it. Okay, so I guess I'll just be direct. How would you best like make? What would you give advice for making a like simple like lined out script when you're giving it to somebody else to edit? As there a CV of my scripts, for example, like
The way first thing you need to do is obviously spacing. You need to space out each paragraphs and stuff. Make the paragraphs small enough so it's not like a hassle to read through everything. You know, one thing you need to do with the scripting, right, is you
mm-hmm,
need to make sure that it flows well in terms of like stuff, right? You need to make sure that if a sentence is talking about one thing, it doesn't appear somewhere else in that same paragraph. You know,
mm-hmm.
you need to mention what you're gonna mention, and if you're gonna make jokes, you need to center your script around the jokes, right? The jokes are basically like the characters, and then the rest of the script is like the world around them. It needs to or the lead up to those jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're going to include jokes, because the way I do it, I treat like skits and jokes as like characters that, you know, or character moments, you know, that you lead up to.
Mm-hmm. Because like, I mean, everyone's form of comedy is different. So like, I guess some people would probably like write a script, like a little script blurb for
Yeah,
those.
and of course you also need to make sure you're putting all the proper words in a sentence so it's not confusing or just doesn't sound wrong.
Yeah.
So because if you're forgetting it, like if you're writing a script and then you happen to forget, like, so you made like a really messy kind of a sentence or something, you're going to read it in a messy kind of way.
Yeah, I guess that's one of my problems when I write scripts. I kind of have trouble like making concise, making short, making. See, right now, I
Yeah.
have trouble making concise, even concise sentences. Because when I talk or when I read
Yeah.
anything like from an actual book, it takes me too long to read a book, and when I try to talk, I always stutter and mumble. So I have
Yeah.
to like process a word, and when I write like 3 or 4 times before I can like chop
I
it
would
down.
say I would say the best thing to do really is don't be afraid to plagiarize, because when it comes to styles and editing and scripting, pretty much a lot of people copy each other. Even like, you know, for example, there are people who really like Demolition D, and that's fine. They're gonna some try to emulate that style, right? Demolition D, he has some interesting edits. He has the way he scripts is nice, I guess. So
Mm.
just pay attention to the bigger guys, like gotten around a while. Like, unless you're talking like people like, you know, chibi reviews who just go on like a more of a rant than a review, you know, because there's really no script with people like Chibi or for Neverworld. It's just straight up, they're just ranting.
Then again, they have a different type of content than someone like me or someone like Nux who like do more avatar based.
Well, thing is, it's not just about being avatar based. You don't even need an avatar. But the thing is, they clearly don't script for shit. They don't know what the hell they're saying because they don't think about it. They just let it come out as it flows. You know, it's like they have to do, because their kind of content is like talking about the anime right as it comes out and shit.
Yeah, their content is pretty much they get on the latest and greatest of things. They talk about how they feel about it, and then
I mean,
they
that's something I mentioned in a video I did before back in 2018, which was you guys know Digibro, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you know that time that he talked shit about Crunchyroll, like their user interface, no HTML and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were it was around the time that he talked shit about High Guardian Spice too.
Mm-hmm.
So for Neverworld and Barack Obama are the kinds of people who, you know, they'll jump on a bandwagon if it means they get into good favor with like a company or something. Like, because here's the thing. I think even there was three people who I mentioned in this video. It was one of my video I did called Shit Tubes, where it's a part of a series. I really like doing that video too. It's like, you
Yeah,
know,
I
like
really
one of my
like your
favorite
shit
ones.
tubes video, by the
But
way.
basically, there was a guy called Yaro Sheehan who did a how to be a dungeon or something, adventurer. He did a bridge series. His content's okay, you know, but he still said some stupid things along with the. I think all three of them said something about like, oh, you're just angry because Crunchyroll doesn't want to invite a lolicon to Crunchyroll Expo, and I'm like, really? And you're not, because here's the thing. I believe in that they also were invited to Crunchyroll Expo. So it seems more like they're just shilling for Crunchyroll, even though Digibro said nothing technically wrong about Crunchyroll. Like, they don't use HTML5. Now, the one thing I agreed on was Yaro Sheehan saying it's kind of stupid to have a complaint about an anime streaming site maybe having a podcast related to anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, it's still related to what they do. But aside from that, you know, it seems people jump on bad bandwagons. Digibro is a big YouTuber. He starts talking shit. They want to, and he's talking about talking shit about like a Crunchyroll, and these guys are invited to Crunchyroll Expo, but he's not. And it's like, really? That's really your excuse? I mean, for Neverworld tried to come. This is how you can tell when somebody doesn't have an argument against somebody else's argument. When Digibro is arguing against the user interface of a site, and for Neverworld tries to bring in an argument about racism, because Digibro said the N word on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I fail to see how that relates to an argument about a user interface on a website.
Yeah, that's kind of like That's kind of like asking somebody for soup when they're at a when they're filing their taxes.
It's basically like you walk into a McDonald's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you ask basically for something like mashed potatoes and peas.
Mm-hmm.
Now they might eventually have something like that, but right now, what do you think they're known for? What do you think they have there?
Not mashed potatoes and peas.
Right, and it's like going to Chick-fil-A and saying, "Can I have a Big Mac? Can I have a Whopper Junior? Can I have an In-N-Out burger?"
It could happen. Like, you could go, like, so I've known people who go into a Chick-fil-A wanting something from Popeyes.
You're going into Chick-fil-A, going into Popeyes and asking for fucking spinach.
That's who we call the dumbasses.
That's what we call people who go to Waffle House too much.
I mean, now that Joella's chicken has kind of penetrated the South, it's like all out chicken war down here.
Oh wow. Like what's funny is like when in Katy, Texas, where my mom kind of lives, right? Where she was living until she had to escape the virus. There was an In-N-Out burger they brought from like California, the chain.
Yeah.
That place is always fucking lined up like it's like a fucking rock concert.
Which is the chain with the Jack in the Box? It's called Jack in the Box.
That's the chain that has curly fries.
It's Arby's?
No, Arby's has curly fries. Arby's also has curly fries. And those curly fries are great. The point is, I tasted the food at Jack in the Box, was not my favorite, and like I like
the tacos because it's cheap. 99 cents for 2 tacos.
That's pretty good. Del Taco has some Del Taco has 69-cent tacos, but they're like small ass shits. Like,
I mean, the tacos at like, how small are we talking? Like, are we talking like
a Joy-Con? It's Joy-Con length.
Like in length of the actual like Joy-Con pieces, not the actual screen.
Yeah, the actual Joy-Con piece. That's the length of a taco on a good day.
I mean, I guess the tacos at Jack in the Box are a little bigger than that, but they're still kind of small. But they I like the taste of them. I guess the meat is really soggy, but I like the taste of it when mixed with their hot sauce and all that.
Mm-hmm. But blah, 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 blah. Pairing with the food talk, going back to the whole shilling for sponsorships or not. Mostly Crunchyroll. I know is that like when people want to when people like Ari is saying in the chat, when people, I don't think you need to sell your soul so much just so you can get sponsored and go to Crunchyroll. I get Crunchyroll's the biggest sponsor for like anime anitubers, and for anitubers like you get invited to their expo and stuff like that. Yeah. But I feel like there's got to be a variety of people, because like we already have the whole Crunchyroll Funimation issue with the topic we are about to talk about in a minute about streaming services.
I think the main problem with sponsors is like people just slip in an ad and they just say, "Go play this game, play Raid Shadow Legends right now."
No, Internet Historians ones is dope. I will watch those.
My favorite time that I ever saw like somebody do a sponsorship, JonTron. He made nothing but a video about the sponsorship, where basically everything was planned out. He had a set and all that, like a set.
You mean the flex tape one? Oh
No. It was about a mobile game that he played, and he was in a dungeon where guy was like saying, "Eat your food."
Oh, that one. Oh, I love that one.
Yeah. I think the flex tape one is just literally just him collabing together for fun. I don't think it's actually like a sponsor kind of thing, the same way that the other one was.
Probably, but that flex tape one was great, man.
Oh my fucking god, the flex tape videos are great. Just let me die. Just let me die. I'm too perfect. Just let me die.
I think in just AnyTube, I think the issue with is mainly for me. I think it's just Crunchyroll. With other sponsorships, I see people do things fine, but because Crunchyroll has such a hold on the anime community in terms of its reach and notoriety, like, and the fact that they have their own convention and that they have like you get good. Like, they have their own, like, you get good boy points into some of their systems. Like, back in the day when reviewers were more popular than the analysts, than analytical AnyTube channels, you got, the best thing you got from sponsors was, like, mail-in from, like, Right Stuff or something. Like, Right Stuff would give you a media copy of it, so you'd have a copy of it for free to review the anime. Nowadays...
Dude, I would fucking love that, having a free copy of anything.
I don't know if they still do that. I don't think that it really depends.
I would love a free copy of SH Figure Arts Vegito, okay? Because that motherfucker used to be like $44 or something without tax on Big Bad Toy Store. Now you go to Amazon, he's like over $100 fucking.
Yeah.
For Vegito of all people. And the only reason I want him is because he has a spirit sword attachment, and that shit is dabtastic.
I think the issue with Crunchyroll sponsors or Crunchyroll sponsored channels is that you can tell that their opinions are, you can tell the difference between how they market an anime against a channel that's not with Crunchyroll at all. Like, take the Anime Awards, like, for example, how they were talking
or take any fucking sponsorship by Mother's Basement.
Yeah, you can tell, like, there's a letter, there's just a level of things you cannot say. And that type of, like, eeriness should never be that noticeable. That's my main critique with channels like Mother's Basement. I don't hate Mother's Basement like a lot of other channels do. I think for efforts wise he does his effort. I just think that when it comes to, like, him and the Anime Man and what's her face? His girl,
Aki Dearest.
I don't know why I know her. I know well, stuff like that. You can just tell when they're doing a Crunchyroll related thing because there's some things they can't say. Like, so they're like in the Anime Awards they were talking about Vinland Saga, but Vinland Saga's on. Remember when Remember when Tristan was talking about Vinland? They were talking about Vinland Saga, but Vinland Saga was on Amazon, but they couldn't say it was on Amazon because that's a competitor website.
I would say that's basically the worst thing you can the worst kind of thing you like can do when it comes to a sponsor is get a sponsor who won't let you talk badly about the product if it has problems.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know if Crunchyroll.
There's also just like non-disclosure agreements that don't really work too well in some cases. Like I think there was a non-disclosure agreement where like what was that? You know that guy called Full Opinions?
Yeah.
When he had that whole what was that app that he talked about that was made by that former Google employee Bindu Reddy or something? I don't know, but it was basically touted as a free speech app, but apparently it wasn't. So, and yet the people who were shilling for it, you know, like the skeptic community, were all like, they apparently, I guess, were under non-disclosure agreements. So it's like, why would you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, but like Ari says, like, get a product. Like, we all, obviously with Crunchyroll, everybody knows Crunchyroll is in the AniTube community, but in general, I think you should just do a sponsorship with an item you like. I mean, if Raid's giving like a shitload of money, I heard like some people were getting like a lot of money from Raid. So I understand if they have to take it because they want to keep the lights on.
If they have to keep the lights on, but here's the thing, you know, a lot of anti-tubers, I think a lot of them really are like the kind of people who like still live with their parents,
Mm-hmm.
except for people like Giguk. Giguk's married of all people. Okay, so people like Giguk obviously are doing okay for themselves. It's where they don't have to do a sponsorship every video, but it's nice to have the money, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
At least with Giguk, when he got sponsored by Crunchyroll one time, he kind of roasted Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
So at least he has like a backbone in some sense. It's not like Mother's Basement who just like shills the shit for Crunchyroll, right?
I just don't think you need to just be you need to like bow before your sponsor so much that you
Basically, it's like that you don't need them to crack the whip.
yeah, if like it's okay to say criticism as long as the criticism is warranted. Like if you don't like a show's audio for something, you think that the dubbing in another show needs a little work, then just say that. You can be constructive when you have a criticism about a about sponsored content.
Right.
I mean, I
But
just
then
don't.
again,
Oh, keep.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. I was just saying, like, it's just when, again, in the anime awards, when they talk about an anime that's not on their site, like, they really want to push, like, when it's time to push something that is on their site, like all the ads they do within the anime awards, yeah, they're gonna push stuff that's gonna be on their platform.
Yeah.
But when something wins that's not on their platform, they're gonna talk about the show, but they're like, don't talk about where it is, because they're like you can tell people, oh, go watch Vinland Saga, but you can't watch it. But don't tell them where to watch Vinland Saga because that's not on Crunchyroll.
Yeah. So on the topic of like critiquing something, like there's a lot of people who really just have a bad standard for what they consider constructive versus destructive criticism, right? It's like that's how like some people legit don't realize that yeah, it's a valid criticism to complain when somebody changes a script from its original source to meet a different kind of meaning altogether. Like you're adapting an anime, right? Like Prison School, right?
Right.
Where the fuck did you get from the Prison School original Japanese version? Where the fuck did you get the words Gamergate from? Did they say something like Gamergate? No, they didn't say fucking Gamergate at all. So you included that for no fucking reason. It's not like the old kind of dubs that Funimation used to do, where they would like just include like innuendos and shit.
Like the panty and stocking dub, that one with
Dude, yeah, that the innuendos are fine if you're trying to make it match, but when you're trying to inject some kind of current politics into something, and it's not, it's like it's bad. There's a way to inject politics into something without it being bad, as long as it's talking about some kind of like general societal issue, like maybe slavery is a bad thing, right? You can talk about that, fine, whatever. But if you're going to try to inject some kind of politics that are currently happening right now, like
our current topic of today's video.
and it needs to be subtle too. You can't just shit it all over the place and expect people to eat your shit. Okay.
What like I said before, this greatly segues into our topic for the topic of this podcast today. So the reason I'm even bringing this up in on my podcast is because in the Discord people were talking about this topic, and I didn't want to make a structured video about it because on the up and up, I'm not as invested in the whole anime production committee thing. I'll just watch what I watch. And if I don't want to support something, I won't support it. But I think it is, well, after thinking about it, I do think it is good to talk about it in a podcast form because it's good to be aware of these things.
When it comes to the whole anime production committees, and say Funimation or Crunchyroll, I believe I've from what I've researched, they technically already always have been. Once you buy the license, you're on the production committee, so they always have been. So yeah, technically, you're not really. You don't have any more worry than you would before as to whether they would inject their agendas into something.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like I've always been under the notion that this is the thing they've always done, and like.
Well, technically, it's a good thing, I guess, to have the license, but it's not a good thing for the way Funimation and Crunchyroll are today to have them. It's like you'd be better off giving it to another streaming platform.
I think people are scared. I think people are scared that it's gonna turn into a four kids thing where
Four kids,
or an old
dude.
night.
Let me put it to you like this: I would take four kids over what Funimation did to Prison School. Okay, four kids was just basically just dumb, but it wasn't like like putting a social political agenda dumb. Like Four Kids was known for the One Piece rap, right?
Yeah, they were known for the One Piece rap and like putting, or for example, in kids anime.
They're known for cringe. That's
Yeah,
the
they're
thing.
known for cringe, but more political stuff they were known for doing is that like in a lot of kids anime, if there was a sad scene in kids anime, which we know there's a lot of anime to get real dark in these shits.
Yeah.
They'll take those scenes out completely out. Like there's that whole thing with this isn't for kids, but on Netflix there's that whole thing with Glitter Force and Pretty Cure and how
I would honestly just say that's not really as much political as it is just trying to evade like parents and teachers, like the PTA or some shit.
yeah. Okay, what about the Sailor Moon example? That's remember how in the 1990s this is not for kids either, but how they made
you're
Neptune.
you're talking about like Sailor Moon, Michiru and Haruka, the cousin thing.
Yeah, the cousin thing.
Again, I think that's avoiding at the time with the parent teacher association, parents and all that. They probably wouldn't like their kids seeing that shit, so it's not so much a political thing, because here's the thing: sexuality doesn't have to be political, but LGBT like Q plus communities today really like to make it political.
Yeah, and this is what I don't understand. Like the anime community or just anime in general has mostly been open, at least in terms of the shows that are being broadcast about.
Yeah.
Especially now, like there's at least a good handful of shows every season that are very open about Yuri and Yaoi and LGBT. So like I don't know how they would push those even more. Like push those.
The thing about Yuri and Yaoi fans is like I've had the worst experience looking at their fandoms. Like,
oh, me too, man. I am in your boat. More so with the Yaoi fans.
What's funny? I actually came across a Yuri fan on a Curious Cat thread one time when I was just looking up Curious Cat threads back in the day. I guess a few years ago. Oh boy, what they said. Apparently, there is an agreed consensus that with at least for Yuri fans, they are most often like extreme internet leftists.
I know that with my issue with the Yaoi fandom, in a similar context, is the whole idea of just like if a female is in the show longer than like 5 seconds, everybody loses their shit because they're like, oh, female taken away from the husbandos. Everybody
Okay.
run.
You have to say that again. You cut out there. But
Am I good?
yeah, you're good now. So go ahead.
Okay, so like it's very similar to how like in the yaoi fandom, how girls get up in their shit when a female character is on screen for like longer than 5 seconds because they're taken away from all the gay, and I'm like,
so let me guess, that one female character from Free.
Yeah, that one female character from Free, like everybody likes her, but like if you're not a sister or a side character that obviously won't get with the dudes, you might as well not exist.
That's basically how it is for Yuri as well, except for the guys. It's like because here's the thing: it's like, they'll hate the character, the male character who happens to even exist, unless they're straight up like just the butt monkey and who's meant to like make the lesbians look better by comparison, or just to basically have no romantic interest whatsoever. Because apparently, I guess guys are supposed to be loveless.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially they'll hate him. I think there was this one Yuri anime I saw that was like one of the earlier ones that people really liked or some shit, was Destiny of the Shrine Maidens.
Mm-hmm.
Japanese name Kanazuki no Miko, I think.
Yeah.
And there's the one of the females main characters had a male love interest, right?
Right.
So what happened was this guy was he was technically a better person for her, I guess you could say, than the other girl, because the other girl, it had some dumb mecha. It had mechas. I went to watch it because it had mecha, right? I love fucking mecha.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, she and the other girl are past lovers from multiple past lives. They're like these shrine maidens who are reborn to kill this evil god every time he revives or some shit.
Right, Zelda style.
Right. So what happens is they're destined to fall in love, right?
Mm-hmm.
But basically this other guy, he turns out to be one of the bad guys in the sense that he was born to be that bad, but because he loves this girl so much, he refuses to follow their commands, kind of like Vegeta and Bobbity, right? Like just straight up, I ain't doing shit for you, bitch. Even if it kills me. So
Oh.
and he would never, so he would never hurt her, never do anything to her. But this other girl who they say is like loves her so much, her bright idea of trying to fix the world involves raping her.
Oh.
And they say that, oh, she's the perfect for her. She raped her with love, whereas the other guy would never have touched her like that against her will. Even if he would never do anything to hurt her. He was pretty much completely capable of just saying, you know what, I'm just not even gonna do anything. If it kills me, whatever.
It's kind
You
of
there?
sad. Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, yeah.
Of course
Okay,
I'm
so
here.
and what happened? The fucked up part is, you know what? This guy is such a nice person to her. Yet guess what? He doesn't even get one of the side characters as a love interest. He's just like forever alone.
Yeah, that's kind of that. I can't believe that's very similar to what happens in Yaois, because a lot of a lot of little sister characters in Yaois, or should I say, or bromances, which is like my subsection of Yaoi, where just like no guy, like you know how
Yeah.
you know those shows like Mega Nebu, or the shows about where it's just a whole cast of guys and maybe one girl. They don't do anything sexual in the show, but there's a lot of like friendship bonding that might as well be, yes, I'm going there,
Yeah.
I'm going there. And like they could just be like reading at a bookstore, but it's so playful that it's like it might as well just they might as well just be in relationships. And like you get this one girl character if you're lucky, and like they become a plot device for something,
Yeah.
and they might get saved by like a side character, but it's never stated they end up with anybody. They're just like, yep, we're here to move the plot along, and that's about it.
I would
Or
say it's just even worse in the case of this guy from that one anime I talked about because he spent so much time risking his life in like mortal combat with like the other bad guys, his own team that's people are supposed to be his own team. He's piloting a mecha who's part deity to fight other deity mechas and is willing to damn his entire soul just to save her.
and then
Whereas this other girl is like her bright idea, rape her and then just so she'll hate her or something, and it's like just so stupid.
yeah. Well, I'm glad to know that both sides are equally as fucked in that type of mentality.
And the thing is, though, it's like he gets no resolution. Like not even a side character. He's a popular guy who has all these girls who want to basically bone him, and yet none of them wind up with him or something. It's never implied. He just like go. He's not even. They're not even the ones to finish the bad guy, right? They
Mm-hmm.
get their super god mecha or whatever. They're not even the ones to finish the bad guy in the anime version. He goes to finish the bad guy. So even though he does all the work, he gets no reward whatsoever for his hard.
So you're saying he simped?
He gets cucked. Not
Ooh.
like, and you know what's funny is like there was a sort of a semi sequel because these two lesbian characters are constantly, and you know what the thing is, it's not even like a lot of Yuri anime don't even really present them in the way you'd expect lesbians to. Like they never really actively say that they're like disgusted by the thought of a guy in a lot of cases, in many cases, because they're still waifus, it's still
Yeah.
waifu bait. So what happens is like these characters are like they never outright state they hate guys, so they're not even really like, a lot of them are what this one person I saw on YouTube calls prison gay. you know they're prison gay, like they're at an all-girls school, or it's just they only ever really got the chance to interact with a girl,
Yeah, and
another
like in
girl.
Yaois, the whole cast is female, the entire city is female. You don't even see a guy. There's most shows where you only see the one gender. I completely relate with you, man, from across the field.
Like it's just really stupid, for me to believe that, that it's like it's almost like especially in all girls schools, it's like especially when they don't even have a male teacher. Because here's the thing: if you're at an all girls or all boys school and you don't have the opposite sex to interact with, even if it's like say a teacher or maybe a neighbor or something, how are you going to interact with them in the real world if you spent your whole life not? That's what it's like. There was this one anime called Show Mean Sample, I think, where basically it was like they were so in awe of the fact that what a guy was like. That's going to happen. You're going to be like this fucking noob who goes out and embarrasses themselves when they're a fucking adult. Like you're 27, and because you grew up in an all girls school, you're still shocked by what you see men doing.
Yeah, like what's the anime I watched that's very similar to this? It's not gravitation. I'm talking from the yaoi perspective because this is literally the same exact argument from the yaoi. It's ski show. It's ski show. Ski show is exactly like that. The entire world is everybody's a dude. I have tried. Everybody's a dude, and like there's a lot of like. It's a lot of like there's like also for some reason what it was with the early 2000s and like having an evil demented like laboratory as like the bad situation, like you got experimented on.
There's phases for everything, like mad scientist phase,
Yeah, the mad scientist we all got experimented on phase was a big thing in the 2000s, and like the whole thing was that they had to cope with it. They had to like create these alternate personas, and one of them was basically a woman, but not really a woman because they're both dudes, and and it was weird. But we strayed way too far from the topic. We got to get back to anime.
I mean, there's not much else to say, I guess, because it's like they're not really any different. They've always been on the committees, really. It's just they're not really treated with that much respect because it's like they're still foreigners who don't understand the Japanese perspective.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like my whole thing is a reason I've been so chill about it because I don't think. I mean, yes, I think that like people are more scared of the fact that anime might go the way of comic books and start getting really bad.
It's more so that it's a slow progression, especially but there is evidence that it's happening because like Reki Kawahara, who made fucking Sword Art Online of all things, right? He's like when he likes those rape scenes, they're really tasteless, but it's not like really problematic in the sense that you have to change this. It needs to be legally demanded that you change this but he's like, you know what, to meet sensibilities from the West, I think I'll tone it down.
He really likes those rape scenes. There's not one season when they're not there.
Part of it could be maybe he's just a rape hentai fanatic, but also it could be because he doesn't really have the actual fucking writing skill to do it, to make somebody seem evil without rape.
Yeah, it just seems like it's like a bingo. It's like a bingo box now. Like, okay, how long is it gonna take for him to add a rape scene or a guy with rape face every single season?
Like it doesn't take rape to make somebody that evil. Okay, I mean look at Frieza. Frieza is like you could murder, but yeah, I mean Frieza at least wasn't just murdering people just to murder them. He actually murders planets so he can sell them to the highest bidder. He's a businessman. I
thought season 3 was gonna be different, and then nope. Once those two guys showed up in part 2, I was like, yep, back to protocol. I mean, the Oracle movie didn't have rape.
And of course, the thing about the thing about anime like that is just like the worst part is just whenever there is a male character, it's usually a villain or just somebody made to make Kirito look better by comparison.
Yeah, it's like he's always got to look better by comparison. Even in season 3, in part 2, he did squat all for like most of it because he was sitting in a chair. And again, as I said in my video about Yu-Gi-Oh, he died for this.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if he just straight up like gets an even bigger harem just because he looks so cute when he's sleeping.
Oh no, no. People have told me that after this whole area, they toned that whole thing down about the harem, and they focus on him and Asuna as a couple because the Alice thing made me fucking angry. I'm like, Yu-Gi-Oh has always been my favorite character in the franchise, and I was like, cool, it's a different type of Yu-Gi-Oh, the blonde kid in season 3. Like,
oh, okay.
I made an entire video. Lamp was there. I made an entire fucking video about my boy Yu-Gi-Oh and how he was the best character in the franchise because he brought so much new stuff to the table, and they kill him off because he was in the way of the harem.
Yeah. I mean, because can't have a guy who could also get a love interest. Gotta just have it all be for Kirito.
Yeah, like cause here's the thing. His love interest was Alice, but they did this stupid thing in the plot where like Alice becomes like some type of super soldier and loses her memory, and that
Oh,
and
yeah.
that him and Yu-Gi-Oh fight up the tower, and like he ends up dying for the cause, and like when he dies, like a ghost version of the original Alice dies with him essentially, so he's technically ends up with Alice, but not really, cause they're
Fucking
dead.
garbage. Okay, it's fucking garbage, like a dumpster fire.
Now
It's a
the only
dumpster. It's a dumpster fire that somebody tossed a bag of shit into. Like everybody just tosses bags of shit into it.
And the only reason that I even watched part two was that like the only thing that makes Kirito even move was not his waifus, but when anybody touches Yu-Gi-Oh's sword, you know, the guy that died, he does start to react. So he does value their friendship a lot. Almost like the joke was like he was gay for Yu-Gi-Oh, but that obviously he's not because waifu bait, but like that was
Oh
like the
boy.
long-standing joke of season 3 that he's gay for Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like, you know what? If it takes
That's really I think a common problem with like harem anime is that they really have to shaft every other male character. You know,
yeah, like
they have to pretty much create just people meant to make the main character look better by comparison because it's usually a self insert. Even in the case of High School DD, name one male character that gets even half the attention that Issei is getting. Like you can name maybe Kiba, but he's the obvious stereotype of like the popular guy. But even then, doesn't really get like that much attention from the actual popular
there's a
girls.
theory that Kiba might be gay for Kirito.
Probably.
That's like the running joke. Remember the locker scene? He was in the
Yeah,
locker and Kiba
and
just
it's pretty much confirmed because in the light novel, he had a gender change just so he could get into those situations.
wait. What?
Yeah, he had temporary magic. I guess it was like a gender change spell.
So
That
wait,
temporarily changed him.
did he temporarily become a woman?
Temporary. I'm pretty sure.
So
And he was getting all kind of hot and bothered. So,
so wait, does
but
that
yeah,
mean when Kiba turned back to a man, does he still have those feelings?
probably. I mean, he's a little friendly with him after a while. But anyways, another thing besides Kiba, it's like look at the other like there's a what's that guy?
There's the big
Fucking
brother. There's Rias's big brother who pretty much
no
acts
no.
like his bro.
Well, I mean, he's already fucking married. Okay, he you know.
Yeah.
But then again, even the fucking guy who's married, his wife gets all a little too friendly with Issei in the bath. Like, really? You're gonna have a married woman do that with like you're gonna basically just so it's like it shows you have no respect for the characters you create unless they're female or the main character. So it's like you're gonna even let the guy's fucking wife start getting all frisky, a little frisky in the bath.
The reverse harem equivalent of that is like trying to like fill your show with hot guys
Yeah.
with no personality if you don't have anything
Thing
else.
about High School DD is like and a lot of harem anime, especially in the like the battle variety, like where they have battles,
Mm-hmm.
light novel battle harems, is that they never really feel earned.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because they never really feel earned because here's the thing. The excuse is always he was nice to me when I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like nobody was ever that nice to you before. Because the thing is, most guys, due to our fucking caveman nature, most guys would always be that nice to a girl. Except for like the rare occasion where you have like a wife beating piece of shit. But most guys would kill to even be in the same vicinity as girls that hot.
No, it's always got to be, oh, I can't be with you because I'm arranged married to this douchebag who has a harem of his own, and all he does is fuck, and he has rape face and ugly bastard face, and he's the obvious I don't want to be with.
And then you're talking about Riser, right?
Yeah.
The thing about Riser is then we've come to find out in like one of the OVA novels. Oh wow, Rias and him were actually really good friends before then. Like really, what made her hate him then, huh? Like what? You never noticed the fact that he had a harem and he was just like, and it's a problem when he has a harem. He's a piece of shit for having a harem, but when Issei gets one, it's fine.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like Issei, like Issei has his harem, and like by season 3, he like I mean the only thing I liked the one thing I liked them like I like DxD because at least they're honest about what they are, and
Well, it depends on what you mean by honest, because a lot of times they really ruin serious moments with like just boob jokes or
yeah.
just moments where it's like they're not even taking it seriously, and yet the context is very serious.
Oh no, I remember it's there. There's that scene. There's the thing that happened in season 2 or season 1 where they're talking about something serious. Like I think a character almost died, or they're going to war, but they're in the student council office. But the student council office got turned into a bath, and they're all naked.
And another thing is, the thing about light novel battle harems is they basically embody the stereotypes that people would say about Dragon Ball Z, about random power-ups for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. In Dragon Ball Z, Goku trains all the fucking time. He trains every day of his goddamn life, harder than any human could ever hope to train in their. He trains hard. Even Krillin. Okay, Krillin trains harder than any devil I've seen in fucking High School DD. You take a look at, what's that guy's name? Cyborg or whatever?
Yeah.
He's doing fucking push-ups when you see him training. He's just doing push-ups. He's doing shit Saitama does. Yet Goku's fucking basically bench pressing or wearing the weight of a planet on his goddamn shoulders when he's training in like gravity chambers and shit. Like Vegeta's doing that. And you expect me to and so the thing is, guys like Issei, the way they really get their harem is I saved the girl's life. I got a random power-up because I wanted to protect a girl.
Well, like, at least
it's just not believable because they never really and when Issei does train, it usually seems to be like when he trains hard, it's a crash course training, like when he's running away from that dragon.
Yeah, or when he has to shoot the fire laser, or when he has to learn how to do power transfer. Yeah. Or, of course, like, the power of boobs compel him. Like, that's the one thing I'll give.
That's the one humorous thing that could be used in a humorous series if it tries to come off as too serious.
Yeah,
where that won't really work.
Or the serious and the serious, like when it stops being super like aware that it's a dumb harem show, then it becomes dumb in the real sense. Like they just need to do, if they're going to do a serious scene, just play out the serious scene. You don't have
basically do it like the Yakuza 0. Like when I played Yakuza 0, they do the serious shit, and then when the serious cutscenes are done, you're back to the game. You can go back to the arcade and play Space Harrier.
I remember that. I love
that. And Yakuza, like here, he's like, when he starts up, he said, "You alien invaders won't get to me," or some shit. And he's like, "Let's hurry."
I love the the bartending mini game a lot in that series.
Dude, like that's what I love about like Yakuza, because they actually do that kind of shit right. They play the serious moments out, and then you wind down from all that action and shit. You wind down, you go do a side quest, and you find out that you decided to hire a goddamn live chicken as a manager for property, and you name him Nugget. So basically, that's the problem with a lot of harem anime is like they invade serious moments, and they never really work that hard for the power-ups they get. It's basically spoon-fed them by the they get it spoon-fed to them by the author.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about if one person's head can get squished in all that boob, or cock, depending on if you're watching a reverse harem. But no, and reverse harems has something. They do a different thing. They do, it gets the same type of endpoint. But
I imagine it's like more of a Mary Sue thing in the traditional sense, where it's like, she's so perfect even when she's not being perfect.
Yeah, it's more like the girl doesn't really have a personality at all, and like it's not that they don't do any
like the wimpy kind of guy usually, like in a harem, like when it's about like some wimpy, bland, faceless guy.
Like they're like, I'm a good person. I'm always gonna save the day. I'm gonna tend your wounds. I'm gonna be a good person. I mean, recently it's been like they just don't have the female lead in it at all, and they just kind of give you a lot of hot guys and hope you don't notice all of like the bad animation or the bad transitions and stuff. Like
that's the thing is like with High School DD is like when I was watching it, the people talk about how great the animation was, but it's not really that great because if you notice, they cut a lot of corners. There's like a lot of freeze frame stills, of Issei and like say Valiant season 2 just bashing heads against each other.
I'll take it over season 4. I feel like season 4 kind of like made it more generic
yeah.
than it is.
Season 4 had it was better for animation in general in terms of like the movements because it was more fluid, you know, it wasn't too stiff, I guess. But the art design really didn't have the same appeal. It was not even the animation, it was more so the art design was closer to the light novel or the manga or something, and it wasn't really that great. You know, it didn't have the same mature feel.
It lost its identity, in my opinion, by being edited by Passione. Yeah. Like, yes, Passione has done a lot of ecchi stuff. Like, they did Interspecies Reviewers, and they did Citrus, but, like, that type of, like, vibrant colors and the soft edges, it wasn't DxD's thing. It, like, yeah. I liked how it looked overly edgy for the sake of being pointy and ridiculous. And
basically DxD should have just been a harem comedy, but they decided to include action and, you know, drama
and power scaling and
power scaling is like stupid but this whole thing, like, for example, you know, the fact is these characters never train, right? And we never really see much feats anyways. They just beat down other opponents, right?
Yeah, until someone bigger comes along, and then they have to then they suddenly get a power up.
So basically, they're not even that strong anyways, you know? Like, if you actually compare them, power scale them to other characters, they get their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, because their powers are really not that kind of vague a lot of times, you know? They rely more on for their battle. Like, you know, it's like, it's like in Fate, you know, like there's more lore, you know, that when people talk about Fate, you know, in versus debates or some shit, they rely a lot on lore, but they forget the narrative, you know?
Yeah, like what actually happens episode per episode.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If we actually rely solely on lore, Lancer should have killed Saber the moment he met her, because his lore is he will never miss his mark and it always aims for the heart. But he missed the mark because Saber was better in raw power. She could just pretty much nullify whatever raw power he put into it, because that's the thing about what people don't realize about narratives. If it really worked as the way it said on the tin can, it would be a shitty anime and it'd be done in like one episode. So really, it's kind of seems to be agreed upon by a lot of authors. Yeah, raw power matters more than just the actual technique itself, because you're not gonna be able to like throw like what you would call it, like let's say you got a toddler to do who knew how to do the 1-inch punch of death that Bruce Lee does.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't gonna knock shit down with his lanky arms. Okay, he has no power. He can't put anything in. He's not gonna knock down Mike Tyson in his prime or even in his adult old man years.
Yeah, but like I think it's that logic that they capitalized on. For example, like recreators.
Say what again?
Oh, I was trying. Oh, do you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was saying, like, is that whole logic about, like, how they make power scaling and how Harem's power scale is why it works so well, like, in a show like Recreators. Remember that hentai guy? Like, the hentai guy that came later on in the series? And...
Hentai guy, no.
Okay,
I haven't seen Recreators in a long time, and it really sucked ass for me.
Okay, so in Recreators, like later on in the series, a character from a hentai, like the main waifu from a hentai, got brought to the real world, and essentially she had to join the fight. But you know, she's a normal high school student, so all the author had to do, because you know, like the whole premise in that whole the leading up to the big fight, everybody had to like write flavor text and like explanations to the audience or to the readers for them to accept. If they accepted it, then it could slowly be added to canon. But because it's a harem anime where people like to see boobs or stuff like that, I mean a hentai, all he had to do was make sure the outfit was nice, and she pretty much got the powers just like that.
Oh, okay.
I found that to be pretty clever. They used to use such a valuableness. And Funimation says they don't. And Funimation standards, am I right?
Yeah.
It's ambiguous. The one thing I did kind of want to talk about more about the whole streaming committee thing before I know there's not much to say. I mean, but I think one thing that needs to be noted is Funimation's own explanation on their website.
Mm-hmm.
And like how they try to explain, like, oh, it's called the piece is called "What Does It Mean to Be on an Anime Production Committee?" And like this and like from their perspective, it's obviously to be rooted in their favor. But I did agree with some points a lot, mostly with their like how does it work with international partners like Funimation. They were just kind of telling how it is. I do think that people are, when it comes to these types of things, they do kind of blow it a little more out of the water. I feel like the bigger like
I think it's mainly just fear.
It's fear.
But fear for reasons, right? For example, like when Crunchyroll was talking about High Guardian Spice, they picked a hell of a person to make the head staff writer. Kate Leth is a person who is known for ruining comic books for a lot of people. And she is known for saying things that would basically be borderline, if not at the level where it's like, yes, I think men should die. That's the things she said on Twitter.
Yeah, but and with this situation, you got people like Hirohei and a lot of people with this whole anime. I feel like a lot of people are bandwagoning all this. I know that Hirohei kind of leans on the more, I wouldn't say conservative, but like a lot of his topics tend to be on the conservative side about how like SJW or interspecies reviewers being.
Here's the thing: you don't even have to be conservative to hate SJWs. Chris Ragran made his start talking shit about SJWs, and he's considers himself a lefty, you know.
Yeah, I do think SJWs do go too far. Those who are self-proclaimed, I just think that they need to be a little calmer. It's like how I think they need to be less They need to be aware that they're just as bad as the people on the right they'd like to talk so much about. Yeah. Because they're just that, but on the complete opposite side. But continuing forward, with the whole anime committee thing, yeah, I do agree that it is fear. That's why I never, when I saw that question in the first place, I really didn't have much to say because, well, I mean, the sentiment is I'm going to be aware because Funimation and Crunchyroll have been a little bit more vocal about how it wants anime to be presented to the mainstream. I do think that if the whole phrase selling their soul to Hollywood for it, I think they would do that.
You know, that reminds me actually that reminds me of like something I was gonna say, but you can continue if you want. I'm just gonna let this kind of stew for a bit if you want.
All right. I was gonna say that, like, yes, do I believe Crunchyroll and Funimation would sell the anime sold to the Hollywood devil? Yes, I would. They would do it without a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It seemed at this point they've been like consumed by company after company and all these buyouts that it's only a matter of time.
Sony buying out Funimation and all that.
The only reason that we're not seeing it as, like you said, it's a slow crawl because with the whole Ghost in the Shell movie, they spent a lot of ass money on it and they didn't get much of a return. Do I think that we're going to get do you think we're going to end up like the gaming community and get so much of a pushback and just give up on anime like that? No, I think there's too much variety for them to not.
Well, I think the thing is, it's more so that with anime, it's specifically kind of a Japanese thing, you know. But with gaming, it's kind of in general. So you get a lot more pushback with anime if it comes from Japan. And in Japan, let's just face it, the companies there, they like their money, okay, most of the time.
Yeah, and
most companies like their money, and when they see a big dip, you know, because like look at comics, right? Diamond fucking went under, right? And Diamond was the sole distributor of all comics because they weren't seeing any money.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, especially with like if the Japanese audience gets pissed, oh yeah, they're gonna do something about it because here's the thing: the Japanese audiences will eat companies alive. They will devour them if they don't give them what they want.
They're resilient. They'll make sure if you did something bad to them, they'll make sure you know about it, and they will not let it go.
They will drain your wallet faster than you can say piss.
So I do have faith that if like a company in Hollywood did get it wrong, they would say something about it. But so far,
it's part of the reason why like a game like Dokkan Battle, which I play a lot, the Japanese version gets a lot of good shit. And used to get a lot like a lot of shit that was much better than global all the time. Reason being, you don't fuck over the Japanese when it comes to their games. They will not buy your shit. That's what happened with Kimono Friends.
Yeah.
Like they fired that one guy they liked. Well, guess what? Fuck you. What was it? What was that company? Not Kodansha.
Koei Tecmo?
Maybe. No, it might have been Kodansha. I don't know. Whichever company was working on Kimono Friends, you know.
Why did I say Koei Tecmo? They're a video game company. Damn.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Mm.
So you want to continue with that selling your soul or something, or
Yeah. I was just saying that, like, because I think what I've been seeing more is like the Hero Hey videos or like those types of things on AniTube about how Funimation is gonna ruin anime and be like
I mean,
it's gonna be the
they have ruined
end
anime.
because
They already have ruined a lot of anime, so
and like how once they get our community they're gonna SJW it up and they're gonna just add all these things. Yes, we're all
well,
scared of that.
yeah. Because here's the thing: it can happen. It probably will happen, in some degree, and people will have to leave the community and start their own,
Hmm.
basically just restart. But basically, anyways, that's kind of like it here and there.
I don't think it's gonna be as bad as people are claimed to be. At least to the sense of like how gaming was with when gaming went mainstream with like its like trying to be inclusive. I think with anime, I think there's still that whole language barrier and cultural barrier of how much are you willing to change. Like with kids anime, they do what they want in kids anime, or like because like for example, like I bring up Glitter Force again, they didn't just take away stuff because of the parents. Like for example, 8 of the episodes were removed from the Pretty Cure
Yeah,
series simply because they referenced Japanese culture and they thought the kids wouldn't understand it, so they just took
yeah.
those episodes out. And instead of like making the place set in Tokyo, they just set it in like New York City or something.
Okay.
That's the type of thing changes that they did in like in some like in Glitter Force.
So can I talk about something?
Sure.
So you mentioned selling your soul to Hollywood, and we were talking about harem anime before. I had this idea before in a fan fiction. It was like a mega crossover that's kind of like Wreck It Ralph, right?
Right.
I had this weird idea before that maybe the way the harem animes, when they make them, is it's kind of like part idol industry, part grooming industry or something, where they basically what happens is they raise these girls to be the way they are in those harem anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like how like selective cities make their like money, like because all they can do is produce harem anime, and
Like,
it's kind of like grooming. Because here's the thing: Hollywood grooms a lot of people,
oh yeah.
so it just reminded me of that. It's just like because somebody equated it to grooming. It's like they're grooming them because they raise the girls and the guys to be a certain way, to so they shelter them, don't let them out of the cities or something, so they don't meet other people.
I wouldn't know
and
about.
and and basically if they do meet up like kind of an outcast, like the idol industry, because here's the thing: if an idol gets like married or something or gets a boyfriend, they get shat on by a lot of those,
Oh
because
yeah.
it's like the illusion, the waifu illusion.
Yeah, they get a boyfriend. Everybody gets really mad about it. They get sent death threats. If the guy is found, they get murdered on the spot. The girl has to shave her head and make a card on the.
Shave her head? I have never seen that. She shaves
You
her
have
fucking head.
you haven't seen like when Korean idols get
Oh,
it.
Korean idols. Okay.
When Korean idols
I,
get it,
I,
the
I can believe
shaving
I can
head
believe
has
that.
become.
I can believe Korean idols doing that.
They got complex with the whole with the shaving head. With Japanese idols, no, they don't muchly do that. But I feel like that's the point in harem anime. Like that's the fantasy. Like the fantasy is breaking the fantasy. Like you want to be the guy to break that fantasy for everybody else. You want to cuck everybody else's dreams by being the reality check on everybody's life.
Being
Woo.
like, my cock is the best cock.
I got the idol girl. That's why they still put that plot point. Like the idol girl is a plenty harem trope, and people know it. So like it's
It's like in the world God only, right? He had that one idol girl that liked him.
mm-hmm. But because
Yeah.
she's an idol, she can't openly say she likes him. But that's the thing. Harem anime, they have that fantasy. Like you're the guy that's gonna like the idol. You're the guy. I mean, here's the thing.
You're the guy who's gonna get the harem. Nobody else has a, but except for you.
Now, in contrast, when it's a shoujo romance, when there's a girl being a stan to a guy idol, most girls will be what I find aggravating is that instead of wanting to live the fantasy, most of these girls will flat out tell their idol in their face when the idol actively wants to be near them. They're like, "No, I don't want to be your girlfriend. You're supposed to be everyone's girlfriend. I'm just a fan that's supposed to like you." Like for example, in one manga, like the girls like they're legal age, so like the girl's 20 and the guy's like 20, 25 or something.
I don't really care about the age that much.
Oh, okay. So like,
as long as they're not dating like, like fucking Sailor Moon. It's like, oh my god, this guy's like what, in his 20s or something, like early 20s, and he's dating a 14-year-old.
oh no, there's worse. First Love Monster is worse. Oh, that's anime. That hell spawn about the 16-year-old who's dating the 5th grader.
Oh my god. Okay, so it's a 16-year-old dating a 5th grader. Holy shit.
No. But the catch is all of, like, the male. So I actually have to show you the image, or you're not going, or you're not. So while I'm talking about this, with the other anime, when it comes to stands, the girl will be like, they'll hug the body. They rather hug the body pillow of the boyfriend, of the boyfriend idol, than the actual boy in front of them that wants them to hug them, because they're like, no, I'm a fan. There's rules that me, as a fan, I can't do too much. But like, okay, but I always found out as complete opposite to what they do in harem anime, where the guys actively want to date the girl. Despite being an idol, I just always felt that to be interesting. But anyway, here's a picture of First Love Monster as I show everybody who I've talked about this anime with. That guy right there, that 17-year-old looking kid, he's in the 5th grade.
Okay, no, that I call malarkey on that. There's a certain level of anime when they come to like
that's JoJo level stupid.
Yeah, like that's just nah.
Like Jotaro.
Nah.
Jotaro's 17. He looks like he's as old as Kenshiro is, Fist of North Star, because he's like,
Now here's the thing, like the whole point is that okay, so the main character is a 16-year-old girl. She's kind of sheltered, and she moves out of her house to like live in an apartment to try to be independent. And this guy walks up that looks like he's 17, and she falls.
I've heard of tall kids before, kids who grow up like really tall, but that is just stupid. He's in the 5th grade, and he probably is like 5'8".
I know, and it gets worse because
that's more of like a deformation. Like he's got a condition.
Like she falls in love with the guy at first sight because at the time she thinks he's a teenager, and then goes and asks him out, and the guy says yes because he's a kid, so he's gonna say yes. So she finds out about a day later that he's in the 5th grade. And the whole point, the show likes to remind you constantly, they don't tell his age, because they don't tell his age in the anime, never at all. Like they never tell the age of all the kids.
They don't even need to. All you need to the average age of the average. Let me look it up, okay? Average age of 5th grader. Okay, the average age of a 5th grader is, say, around 10 to 11 years old. Okay, there is no Romeo and Juliet that's going to protect you from that. Okay, here's the thing: in Texas, right, if you reach 17, you can fuck anybody who's older than you. But if you're going to fuck somebody younger than 17, it's a maximum of 3 years. From all the research I've done, 3 years, right? So for 17, you can go as low as 14, right? And for every year you grow, that list becomes smaller. Once you reach like 20, you can't touch anything.
Yes. So like
you can only touch older.
So but what makes First Love Monster extra super special is that they're very much that the show. You know how like with other anime, when they do those large age gaps with kids, they kind of they try to make you forget about it by having a lot of the cute scenes. No, in this one, the show actively keeps reminding.
Say it again. You were cutting out there.
How about now?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, so you know how like in other shows with a large age gap like that, they try to like distract you from the age gap by doing a lot of these cute little things. In this show, they actively remind you. Some of the characters even sit the girl down and be like, you're dating a 5th grader, right? You know this is illegal, right?
Oh my god, that reminds me of this one. Oh my god, this fucking anime. Have you seen Kodomo no Jikan, or Kids Time?
Is that the one with the girl with the large big barrettes, and she has the big and she's like the blonde?
She's like a really tiny, like she looks really small, and she like falls in love with her male teacher.
Yeah, she wants to bone her teacher.
That kid is fucking weird. Okay, how the fuck does your kid learn that shit?
No, that kid's fucked up.
That shit is like Dragon Maid, right? Okay, you have Saikawa and Dragon Maid. Saikawa is getting all hot and bothered. The way she's acting like an old perv. How does a kid end up like that unless their parents were like really fucking weird? or
Yeah.
their uncle. They had a visit from Uncle Bobby. Uncle Bobby touched me in weird places, but it felt really good.
Yeah, that show was messed up. A lot of dark stuff happens in Kodama.
Kodomono Jikon, yeah.
Kodama to Gcon. Oh, all those kids got messed up lives. And just like, but like in this show, like I
Uncle
found,
Bobby diddled my fiddle.
but in First Love Monster, I just found out how nuanced, how like aware the show was that she was dating a fifth grader, and like
Yeah.
all of his friends, except for the student council president, are also look like that. So for example, in one scene,
Oh my God,
they have
that is just so stupid.
they have a
okay?
photo album. They have a photo album, and where everybody looks of them being in third grade, and they all look like normal third graders.
Oh my God.
Then they flip the page.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
This reminds me of the people who were shipping Caulifla and Goku.
Yes.
Dude, do you have any idea how old Goku is? Like, okay, look, even if she's of a legal age, it's still kind of weird why you would have such a fetish for shipping these two, because Goku's in his fucking 50s by that point.
I know.
And Caulifla's probably like 16, maybe.
It was weird, wasn't it?
It was weird, okay? I'm not going to say that it's wrong necessarily, because she's still of what's the most common legal age probably in, the West, in like the most modern societies, right? 16, 17, 18 are like the most common ages people have as legal ages. But it's still fucking weird that you have this desire to pair a 50, like somebody's like what, 56 or something, with a 16-year-old girl who have no chemistry other than they like to fight.
Right. But like, okay.
I can see no chemistry whatsoever with that.
Oh, that's weird. But to finish that joke, so finish that episode, so third grade, they look the same. Fourth grade, there's no page at all. Something mysterious happened. Fifth grade, that's what they look like now, like they're fucking 18.
Like they had a magic growth spurt, like just like, oh my God, it's like they just started ballooning up randomly in the middle of the night, and then their clothes are all ripped up.
Yeah, and then it gets very weird when there's when the main character's cousin comes to town again. He's also in the fifth grade. He also looks like the hot tanned like swimmer type who was like in high school, but fifth grade, and like. So and when I mean this show constantly reminds you like characters that will come up to her. Like for example, the student council president of the elementary school.
I get it.
Yeah, you get it. It's
I get it. Okay, I don't want. It's just so weird. Like, okay, look, I get that some people probably watch this mainly because the girl like is cute or something, right? But it's like, God, it's weird.
You know what's even worse about this? Since we have Funimation about streaming services, Funimation dubbed this.
Oh wow, they would dub an actual pedophile-esque kind of series. But they won't dub interspecies reviewers.
That's a special dub right there. Funimation dubbed that.
I would. You know what? By this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they would dub Kodomo no Jikon. But they won't dub interspecies reviewers because people actually like a lot. And it's it's not exactly meeting up with their agenda. Sex is bad.
Yeah, and that's why it was so weird about the whole interspecies reviewers thing. I was like, Funimation, you dubbed First Love Monster. How would you not dub interspecies reviewers? Everybody in interspecies review is at least legal age.
Yeah.
But no, you.
Oh my fucking God, I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So.
Okay, I have to breathe. I have to breathe.
I don't know. So. I guess like it's just weird. So, anyways, why do you like harem anime?
Why do I like harem anime?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember you did a video on that when you were with Anime America, right?
Yeah, when I was with Anime America, like I like harem anime because it gives me a chance to just like in most of them there's a lot more wild prospects in harem anime. I don't want to just say it's turn your brain off fun. Like, it's trash. Like, harem anime is trash, but it's
anime is trash and so am I, right?
Yes, anime is trash and so am I as per the gospel. But Gigook 342.
Gigook? Dude, that's like a fucking racial slur right there, Gigook. A gook, You've never heard of gook before?
Oh no.
Oh my God, he's a Gigook. I'm gonna start doing that. Hey, if you're watching this, Gigook, how you doing?
Oh my god, that's just
I'm from one gook to another.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I'm a fucking gook too.
But I like harem anime because
You know where I first heard that term? Gran
Where?
Torino. I think that's the name of it. One with Clint Eastwood.
Oh really? No.
Yeah, Gran Torino is the one where he's like this old. I think he's like a war veteran or something, and he like is in a bad neighborhood. He lives there, but he has like a lot of guns, you know. So
Yeah, and no, I did not just say I had to pee. I don't feel like I have to pee right now. Like though, woo! But like harem anime, I like harem anime because it's dumb. And the best harem anime know that they're dumb. And I mean, there are some intellectual harem anime. It can happen. It just doesn't happen often. Like Snafu was brilliant, but Snafu's not really a harem anime yet. Well, not in the first season.
you want to know what one of my favorites is? Is This a Zombie?
Oh yes,
fucking great.
Yeah,
here's the thing. That had a main character who actually had some personality. He had some flair.
Yes, praise that anime. Yeah. Praise it.
Fucking Aikawa, I think Ayumu.
Ayumu.
This motherfucker, okay, has so much more personality than just saying your average perverted guy, right? He's not just some perverted guy. He's a perverted guy who will stop to teach somebody breakdancing because he sees how shit they are at dancing.
Yes, Ayumu from that anime is one of the best harem anime ever made, and it deserves a fucking medal.
You know, like it still has the stereotype of the guy gets abused a lot, but at least he's not implied to just be a normal human. So they're attacking somebody they know.
I mean, the whole point is that he's a zombie.
He could walk that shit off.
And I like how he's deadpanned afterwards. Like his whole thing is that he's very slothish. He just kind of like takes things.
Well, I mean, he's slothish sometimes, but then you have like these moments where he's like, there's this one time where I think her name was Euclid Health, right? She gets sick with like an underworld disease, and he's following the instructions of this one guy, and he's like sticking his hands into his pants, doing some ritual dance and poking his finger up like it's a dick, and they're like, oh, doing this weird dance.
Yeah. And then
like this. Oh my god.
Yes. There's this new harem. There's a harem recently that I've been loving, and that I need to really like update that list and make it for this channel, because my list for favorite harem anime and favorite harem leads have completely changed now. Like Hayate was like the best one on that list for a while, and
Hayate the combat butler, right?
Yes, but I no longer feel that way because of how the manga ended, and how the manga ended made me realize a lot of like things about Hayate, and the fact that Hayate as a character does not get much time to himself. Like he doesn't get much headspace. You never learn anything. And then the ending was the ending was partly not Hayate's fault. It was more like the writer's fault for forgetting, because the series has gone on for like a decade, and he was like, oh shit, the series is ending. I forgot how to end all these waifus routes. So he just kind of ended half of them in just the weirdest, stupidest way. And it didn't. So Hayate in general had to suffer. Hayate's ending had to suffer for it, and I mean, at the end I was like, he's gonna end up with Nagi. I want him to end up with something else, because that was the whole point of the series, because he kidnaps Nagi out of a misunderstanding, and he doesn't actually like her. But he only starts to like her after the end, and then we get into the epilogue, which wouldn't make sense to his character.
So he just starts liking her at the very end.
No, let me okay, so to give a really, really, really brief summary of what happens, final boss tends to be his parents. His fucking parents are essentially the final boss. And,
oh, wow.
And, they're scummy-ass people. I've seen some scummy parents.
So basically bad writing, because they have to make scummy parents main villain. It's because they had to use a plot point that was like from
the plot point, the parents being scummy piles of shit was the entire story. That's a main thing about why he ended up like where he is. But like, so just to cut the fat, one of the friends of the characters, they're walking home with Hayate, and they're basically like, so have you told Nagi yet? And they're talking about how they first met, and then the friend's like, wait, you haven't told Nagi yet this whole time about the misunderstanding that you don't actually like her, and that the only reason that she thinks that you like her is because you actually tried to kidnap her. And he's like, yeah, I haven't told her. And then he punches him in the face and be like, you gotta tell her eventually. But just when but of course, just as when he was going to try to tell her, the parents come in and there's like a whole magic thing at this point. You don't need to know that. The point is, his bitchy mother tells Nagi for him in the worst possible way. So Nagi tries to ask him, do you love me? And then Hayate says no, because she's 10 or whatever, or 11. And he doesn't like her that way at that point. And then they have this entire thing where it's like, no, and you know how animes go. Something happens. He beats himself up for it. The childhood friend has to come in. Also, by the way, the childhood friends route ended. She was basically designated second place. Because essentially there's this whole time, they basically stated...
Second place?
I say second place because she's the only girl that got a pseudo ending with Hayate, like a big what if, because time travel was involved and magic and shit. Essentially, the story said that if Hayate didn't meet Nagi first, she would have ended up with him. Literally, finders keepers rules. Fuck the finders keepers clause. So like
for a childhood friend, like when the case is like, it's like if the childhood friend went just because they were the.
Yeah, like, literally the ending said if the childhood friend had met Hayate that day to save him from the brokers, he would have ended up with her instead of Nagi. But no, she didn't show up. She wasn't even there that day. It was Nagi.
No, by that logic, finders keepers, if he met a guy, he should fall in love with the guy then.
Yeah, like, I hate the finders keepers clause in harem anime. So basically, basically the MacGuffin happens. He saves Nagi. They have that misunderstanding, and
it's about as nonsensical as the whole, he's nice to me. That's why.
Yeah, and he only realizes that he's in love with Nagi until the moment she fires him. And when I mean fires, I mean like he lets her go. He finally lets him go so he can live his life because he already paid off his debt and everything. So. He fires him, cut to epilogue 2 years later, all that shit, she's our own woman, and then we learn that Hayate had been secretly following her for 2 years straight, protecting her from things in the shadows.
An old woman in 2 years? She becomes an old woman in 2 years?
No, in 2 years, she loses her, she gives her inheritance to the rightful owner, because we find out she didn't actually deserve the inheritance, but she gave it but she let the other relative have it, so she's living a normal life, like a normal person, but she's...
Oh, okay.
I know, I'm skipping over a lot of plot points to get to the point that Hayate's writing in the ending sucked, and it changed my whole perspective of the character. That's why I would knock him down.
Who's this other character mentioning?
I'm trying to remember. Like, I watched a recent harem that came out real recently, and there was this guy in the harem that I loved so much. I would make him the top. And I'm trying...
A guy in the harem?
No, not guy in the harem. He was a main character in a harem that came out recently. Like, real recently that I watched. And it was recent content, because I haven't watched much 20 anime. And, like, I'm trying to remember who the fuck he is. It was from an isekai.
Oh, an isekai.
And, like, I'm looking it up now on...
I have no faith.
My anime list. And, like... It was one of them. And basically that guy impressed me a lot, and that's why I would put him on the
say that again. You cut out there from that.
Oh, I'm gonna just revamp what I just said. Essentially, I made the harem video pre-isekai, before isekai boomed in the anime space. And like I have been wanting to like find that anime again. And that's the thing, we have so much damn anime that like it's so hard to like pin down on like one thing.
What does this guy look like?
Oh god, how do I explain it? I'm actually looking it up on what's it called?
Just tell me what he looks like. I might be able to figure out what you're talking about.
Brown hair.
Brown hair.
He's kind of it was from an isekai. It's not. Oh, it's Oh my god, it's Kazuma. There we go. There you go.
Konosuba, really?
Yeah.
That's such an obvious fucking pick.
I mean, yes, it's an obvious pick. Of course Kazuma would be on that list. That man is the man of culture.
He's the man of gender equality.
Yes,
As
I
it
know it's
says.
the based pick, but like my list was made in a
Well, it's such a kind of a generic pick too. You know.
Look, it's generic, but he deserves the praise he gets.
I would say I'd still pick like, you know, I'd still pick Aikawa Ayumu 41 Zombie Deska is this because here's the thing, Kazuma is like his jokes are not really even that much of a flair. Like the visuals are really where it's at, you know.
I
Especially
mean,
with
yes, because
the
Ayamu's on
thing
my
is,
list
right?
too. No,
Ayumu at least he has like actual character skills that like play into his absurd. You know, like he can like break dance and all that. What is Kazuma? What does he have? Like he has like the steal ability, so he steals panties. Okay, that's funny, I guess. For the first few times, you know, it's funny, but I'd still pick Kazuma, not Kazuma, Ayumu.
like Ayamu's already like I. If you saw that video, Ayamu's in my top 3. He was third. He is third. It was behind Keima and behind Hayate, but Hayate got knocked down to 4th for me, or even 5th. But like but with Kazuma, what I like about Kazuma is that unlike other harem leads, he actively capitalizes on the fact that he's in a fucking harem. Like when he sees a perverted moment, he chases that perverted moment unapologetically. I'm just tired of fucking dudes that are trying to be so gentlemanly, like trying to like not touch the girls. I mean
it really depends, you know, because there's you know, that seems to be the go-to kind of thing that people say. You know, that's why I like this character. It's like I can't stand that. You know, when that's usually like the go-to for people. It's like, okay, you know what? He's a funny character, but is that really the only reason you like him that much better? Like, I mean, here's the thing.
it's more that his relationships go somewhere. Like little by little, like all the relationship with his female friends, they do actually lead to something romantic. The anime is not shy about hitting
I know
that.
something. I know something happened with Megumin one time. They kind of got close, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you know.
But I understand. I do understand that. Yeah, Cosma is the generic pick. I don't mind him being the generic pick.
Well, he's a generic pick because everybody's obviously probably pick him, or maybe like you know, like maybe they might have seen Is This a Zombie? They might pick him, you know.
Yeah.
Or maybe they saw like God only knows.
Surprisingly, not many people have seen Is That a Zombie? Which
But
I mean, more people need to see that.
But then again, we're talking about people who probably actually like, you know, don't sit there and just consume harems like a drug. Because there are people who will pick Issei just because, you know, just because it's like they want to self-insert that badly into them. They're basing it off of who has the best harem to self-insert into.
I mean, if you're gonna pick Issa, you might as well pick the other guy put in the same spot, the kid from Golden Boy. They're basically the same characters. One is more in a realistic setting, and the other one's not.
Yeah, and the other one also has more, say, Issei, who's.
I love Golden Boy. It's
Golden Boy is the kind of guy who, sure, he's a pervert, but he's got more to him. You know, he's like he loves knowledge for one. That's the only reason he's traveling. He's not traveling to chase skirts like Issei would. Issei just cares about chasing skirts. This guy, he is legitimately traveling around the world to learn new things.
Yeah, and it's great seeing him kind of just travel every single where. As I hear the typing of Lamp.
Sorry, talking to someone else on Discord.
Basically, like the thing about Golden Boy is like, look at him. When the girls are chasing after him, he doesn't look back. He just keeps traveling forward, even when they're trying to chase after him, showing that he has things he values more than just pussy.
Yeah, like there's Kazuma who all collectively said is a man of culture, but this guy is seeking as the man of culture. If you want to say who's like the true like seeker of man of culture, it's the kid from Golden Boy. Love him. I love that man. He's got like his own moral code.
Yeah, he's got a moral code. You know, I mean, Issei seems like the kind of guy who would touch a kid maybe if he could get away with like Koneko. You know, if he didn't know how old she was actually in high school, he probably would still look at her like that. You know,
yeah,
she's so cute. You know, it's like, whereas Golden Boy, I'm pretty sure I remember he was like he wouldn't actively touch a kid. You know, it's just his own moral code. It's not just because laws say he can't. his own moral code.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he actively tries to avoid those things. It's like City Hunter. You ever seen City Hunter?
No, I have not seen City Hunter.
Okay, City Hunter is about this guy who's like, he's called a sweeper. It's like a hired assassin,
Mm-hmm.
But he only does like hired assassin jobs, bad people, I guess.
Yeah.
But basically, he's a sweeper. Main character's name is Rio Saiba, right? He has a similar code of conduct, I guess. He doesn't touch kids. Whenever he sees a girl who looks hot, and he finds out she's jailbait, he's like really depressed. It's like, no, okay, look, I'm not into you. Okay, you're too young. Like there was this one time that he got an idol to be interested into him, and he's just like, nah, okay, I'm not interested. You're too young.
Good on him.
And he's like this guy who can like sharpshoot like from 1,500 yards away.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like he was voiced by the same guy who voiced Kenshiro, Fist of the North Star, but he has such a wacky voice. He has this funny like line that shows when he's perverted. He calls it mokuri, like mokuri. This really weird voice.
Mm-hmm.
This guy does a great Kenshiro, like the voice actor. So he has a really good like serious voice, but he can go into completely goofball Master Roshi-esque kind of like behavior.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm looking at pictures of City Hunter now. Like, was this during like the Heat Guy J era of like?
You got what?
Is this during like the Heat Guy J era of like anime where everything?
I'm not sure. I think it was like late 80s, maybe early 80s, but I think late 80s. Maybe.
Like every anime at that time was like a cyberpunk, or either like they took
or
things
like
to the city,
like a detective kind of thing,
like a buddy cop detective.
So Jackie Chan, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was this one movie he did where he dressed up as Chun-Li. You ever seen that scene from Street Fighter where he falls into a Street Fighter arcade machine, becomes Chun-Li, and the other guy becomes like some of them become Guile, one becomes the Daalism, I think is his name. Basically, that was from a Jackie Chan live action version of City Hunter.
Oh.
And yeah.
That's cool. It's fucking cool. Oh, yeah, that sounds pretty nice. I should like.
Yeah, City Hunter basically, Real Saiba is a complete pervert like Issei, but he's a bit more grabby, he touchy, he touches. He doesn't actively like rape anybody, but he like kind of like sneaks a feel on their ass and shit, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets like knocked by like a gigantic megaton hammer and shit, like the kind of hammer Usopp carries in One Piece.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't. And here's the thing. Here's how you can tell he still has code, right? His partner at the beginning of the series for the first few episodes dies, and his sister is the partner's sister, right? His partner had a sister who became his assistant after his brother dies. So here's the thing. Because it's the sister of his partner, he will never touch her. Like, he'll never actively go after her. Like, he might, like, take sneak peeks at her. Maybe he'll, like, cop feel every now and then, I think. But he will, if she ever, like, tried to get with him, he would never do it. He, like, I think it's, like, slow build up to where it will happen, but he would actively choose not to, just out of respect for his friend. But Issei is the kind of guy, characters like Issei who are perverts would probably, would think, maybe I would go after her.
Yeah, I do think like Issei is the type that I think Issei is the opportunistic type that as long as it was a girl with legs, he would go after them.
As if they wanted it, he would take it, or he'd try to until another girl comes in the way and tries to get in the way. That's the thing about harem, they never do anything.
Yeah, they got like they
always have to do it at like the end of the series or something.
Yeah, or they gotta create a hierarchy where there's an alpha lady.
They gotta what?
An alpha lady, like
that.
Yeah, like they have to have a girl who's going to be like the girls have to collectively agree who's going to be the one who gets the most time with him, but the other girls gotta have the rival that steals it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, when it comes to that whole like, they have to agree who the favorite is. That's probably part of why harems wouldn't work in real life, because they never get to spend enough time with the guy individually. So it's like they probably harems, if it was like once the harem series ends, if we were to actually see like some guy try to play it out like it would in real life, they'd probably eventually just leave their separate ways. You know, maybe still be friends, but they'd still find other.
I think
You
it just
know,
end like I think it just end up like what happens in hentai anime. With certain aspects, we're almost at 2 hours, so I'm gonna say it. In that like in like hentais where where it ends up with the guy and all the girls are in bed and they're all pregnant. That's what I think, like, realistically.
yeah, but realistically, I think also at the end of the day, if they don't get to spend enough time with them, especially if the guy like, because I think there was like this one novel like for high school DD where they showed what happened in a possible future,
Mm-hmm.
and Issei didn't really spend all that much time with like kids or something, I guess, and the like because he's working or something, and he has to individually kind of go amongst that many girls and try to spread out the time he spends. You know, so like
With
he
what
wasn't
job is he getting that potential future anyway?
like devil kind of work, I guess.
Oh, I see. So he's still doing like devil work. Like he's
Yeah.
probably like playing video games with like neats. I mean, which is not bad. I mean, he could be like a devil that specializes in taking the souls of neats who like just
But
want.
basically, like, yeah, just it's like But here's the thing, you know, that's the thing that's stupid about like harem. Like, they're so in love with this one guy to the point where they worship him. It's like, what if he doesn't pick you? You know, because if I were to write a series it's like I said, that one fan fiction that's like a gigantic different genres and stuff, like kind of like Wreck-It Ralph, where it's like they make all their money by like giving us anime. If I were to have the main character kind of interact with somebody's harem, he'd probably be like a mentor kind of role where he'd be like, "Why the fuck are you wasting all your time thinking he's gonna pick you? You have to work for it. You know, you can't just sit there and be like, well, I mean, eventually he's gonna pick me. You know, you gotta work and make sure that you've talked to other guys because let's face it, you know, you got 20. If you have like 10 girls in the same harem, that means you have a one out of like a 10 out of 100 chance or some shit. You have like very little chance of being that one. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you sitting there like that? Where you think you're just gonna magically be the one they pick? What if you die alone? Are you gonna, if you don't get picked, are you just gonna choose to die alone?
What if you find another guy like at the grocery store that you have a good rapport with, and he's always there, and you just want to be with him? Or do you have to like tell the harem that you're gonna leave the harem? Like, how does that work?
Basically, it's like you just have to, like, if you're gonna have that kind of mentor role in that kind of harem where it's like that, you have to basically get them to understand the bleakness of the situation. You know, it's like, okay, there's this many girls, and it's like just I really want to be the one he loves the most. You have to work for that. So if you want somebody to love you more than anybody, you're gonna have to leave the harem.
And then you'd have to leave the harem or like kill everybody or do like they do in school days, kill everybody else to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna like have like a you know, like a fan fiction like that, because I kind of have, it's like I had this idea for like fan fiction comedy, right? Kind of comedy with some action, maybe every now and then have a serious moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But basically, it was like, okay, that's one kind of plot point. He's trying to play a mentor, right?
Yeah.
I did have some weird ideas, like he's like he's an old, right? He's like in his 30s, so
If you
like,
want some weird plot points about girls and people fighting over each other, you should look at Shaddy's mangas. But for the sake of everybody else,
so let me guess. Like, I thought you were gonna say something like you should have like somebody in his 30s like having a bunch of high schools go after him.
Oh no, that does not happen in Chinese mangas I'm looking at. In Chinese mangas, when the girl fights over another girl, they always try it. Always like if the girl is pregnant, they'll do. I can't believe I'm going. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, audience.
Basically, but like, you know,
we're talking miscarriages. We're talking rape.
Yeah.
We're talking selling to the porn industry. We're talking chains. We're talking cages. We're talking drowning.
We're talking fucking like fisting and shit.
Yeah.
Fisting and ripping out organs. But you know, the thing is, like with harem anime, it's like if I were to write that kind of, I had this one idea, right, for this weird situation. Like I wanted to write this, like I have this recurring gag that's just meant to be a complete like description of how like bleak the main character's life is.
Mm-hmm.
He usually can't find people who wouldn't raise eyebrows, who want to get into his pants.
Mm-hmm.
So every time he is completely cucked by life. So he has to constantly like it's like a struggle. That would be like his one of his like comedic conflicts is he's like he would try to find a girl who's like, around his age, or at least in her 20s. And maybe like at the very end of the series he finally finds one. But basically I had this one idea that's like where he could play a mentor role. So and it kind of plays into the lore of the story. So, harems are like really weird, right?
Right, yeah.
And some girls are like really sexual, like
Yeah.
they for some reason Zenobia in DxD just starts coming off as really sexual towards Issei. Like she seems more like the person who's never once known what sex is, and she's only like known battle and religion. So here's the idea: is that they constantly have to do cover-ups for family, the family that runs High School DD. They have to do cover-ups because she's constantly trying to get into everybody's pants.
Everybody's pants.
That's the only logical explanation for why somebody would be that fucking sexual all of a sudden, is if they had like a disability like that, like hypersexuality.
Yeah, at least the cat girl in DxD, it took her 3 seasons to join the harem. She did not like the kid. She did not like the guy at first. It took a long time.
Yeah, Novia just starts popping up, wanting to pop babies out like right away. So it's like that kind of character, like Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs has somebody just.
Yeah, Yuna and Haunted Hot Springs. Oh god, I hate her. I hate that anime so much.
Here's the thing: the girls are hot and all, like always, but holy fuck, it's like trying to do One Punch Man, but it's like bad.
The anime in Yuna and the Hot Springs, that harem anime, is so played straight to every cliche under the sun. Especially the punching one, it gets on my nerves. I had to drop it after 3 episodes. I could not do it. That anime...
Like, it's like, and the fact that he says, oh, I won't punch a woman, even though that woman is trying to murder you and possibly your friends, just so that her, the master of the house, that one dragon clan lady, right? She's like trying to murder you and your friends, just so that the master of the house can have his own little harem. You're not gonna punch her, even though she's like clearly trying to kill you. Like that is simping right there. That is fucking simp material. You won't punch a fucking murderous, evil woman, but you'll punch a guy just as easily. Even if he had great reasons. Like this motherfucker is the kind of guy who wouldn't even sit down to listen to Sandman. Okay, Sandman in Spider-Man 3. He would not care to listen to his story. Punch him, and then that's it. But then he finds then what? What happens when you find out? Oh, Sandman was trying to pay for his daughter's surgery, and you punched him into oblivion.
Yeah,
that's how stupid that logic is. It's like the only thing I don't punch is women. That's his whole line. Like
that was aggravating. I was just tired of the whole punching thing. You walk in, gets punched. Like, that cliche has been so done to death. It's 2020, y'all. Like, there's been more that we've explored it. We've in and out. We should not still be on the walks in on bathroom and he gets punched. But sometimes it's like he gets punched every single time. That's why my problem.
Yeah.
That's been my problem with the tsundere when a tsundere does that. You can they be like, you can do more than just accuse the man of sexual harassment.
Like Luis from Zero no Tsukaima.
Yeah, you can be a tsundere without going there. Speaking of going places, hey Lamp,
I'm here.
You've been quiet the entire stream. We're just about at the end point, man. What's
I didn't watch, like you said before. I don't want to interrupt your guys' flow. Like y'all had a lot going. I really had no input because I don't know enough about it. So. I'm sorry.
When me and Kai, it's okay. When me and Kai, I know this is gonna sound very.
When it comes to harems, okay, that is a huge just issue for me. I have a love-hate relationship with it, so it's like I have a similar love-hate relationship with like some other kind of genres. I guess like the romance genre is really tiring, but it's like when it comes to harems, it's especially tiring because it's just that fucking stupid.
Yeah, and like not to be super sappy, but like I like talking with Kaiser a lot about the harem genre. It's like I haven't met anybody else in like AntiTube yet who's like had the same passion I do when it comes to like talking about these shitty ass harems.
I have a passion for talking about them because they are everything wrong that people thought was wrong with Dragon Ball. Like everything wrong that people thought about Dragon Ball, like, oh, they got random power-ups. I see it nowhere in Dragon Ball, okay? I see it everywhere in like light novel battle harem.
Yeah,
But in Dragon Ball, right, people will tell you that, oh, the Super Saiyan was such a bullshit power. Really, it was that bullshit? They built up that shit for an entire arc with a lot of lore, a lot of mystery. And even when he does get the power up, he doesn't just one-shot Frieza. He actually has a full-blown fight to the death.
Yes.
So, because here's the thing, Dragon Ball built up Frieza, and they paid him off. It's like the one time I saw like a harem anime where it tried to build up a villain was the first season of DxD Riser. But even then, it was like just the bare basic kind of build up that Frieza got.
Ooh, I don't even think it was bare basic. It was barely watchable.
Well, the first season, they did have some build up in the sense that, okay, this guy is clearly a bit better than your average devil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they paid it off a little bit with you know, how Issei first lost to him, right? He lost to him the first, right?
Right.
They didn't get it, but and then he got the stupid power up, you know, the boosted gear, you know, to the point where it was like, you know, he got the balance breaker. But what happens is, what actually made it okay was that he kind of failed. You know, he failed at first with the balance breaker alone, so he had to think on his feet. He had to use the holy water to try to null some of the.
I thought that was pretty cool because he didn't just suddenly master it at the end of season 1. It took him to literally the 3rd season just to get the full armor like it was nothing. So I appreciate that, but everything else, it's like after.
But again, you know, it's not even that. It's he got the armor just fine. He transformed just fine. It's not like, you know, with like Super Saiyan transformation where like Gohan is first trying to like, he's like shaking and he can't even do it. He can barely tap into it. He's like, oh, I'll give you the power up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when he gets what was it called? The next one, he's a Juggernaut drive. He just gets it just because he's emotionally angry. But he doesn't have to go through the same torment, the same physical pain that, like, you know, Goku had to go. He got the shit kicked out of him just to get Super Saiyan.
Why haven't we done a video together about harem anime yet? Damn.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, we're past time, and we got so where. So before we go, Kaiser, would you like to say one more time where people could find you? And
I'm called KAISER TRIGGER on YouTube. I'm called Boozer fucking Cooter on Twitter. You know, maybe I'll fucking get a bottle of whiskey and do a video about I'll just change my avatar to my avatar just trying to shove whiskey down his fucking visor. But yeah, basically I've got a series coming out. You know, first episode already done. I'm having somebody work on a trailer for it that's going to premiere. I'll have the series. This will be the first time I actually do use the premiere function. I'm also going to try to do the second episode before I release it, the actual episode, because I want to have like a stereotypical preview at the end of the episode, like, you know, it's like next time on Dragon Ball Z or next time on Evangelion, you know, that kind of. So it'll show snippets from it, like a musical track.
You mean what they do at the end of JoJo's? With the roundabout?
More like Evangelion, where, you know, somebody saying next time.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Jikai Yokoku, I think is what they called it in Evangelion. It's like, you know, Yu Yu Hakusho did that, right? Mm-hmm. Those older anime did that, a lot of them. Yeah. And like some newer ones did.
Mm. So would people mostly find you on your Twitter and your Discord?
They can find me on my Discord, but they, you know, I kind of lurk on my own Discord because I'm usually trying to think of what to do for a video, and I'm usually doing some stuff that guys usually do alone.
Oh, yes.
You know? Or I'm watching some new anime. Like I watched Steins Gate again. I rewatched it, and then I watched Steins Gate Zero for the first time.
Yeah. Wait, I need to get to Steins Gate, but that's a thing for another time. But
yeah.
Anyway, this has been a very eventful.
Also one more thing.
Whoa.
I need to mention what the series I'm working on is about. It's about a trio of cops. There are 2 stick figures, right? So, and they have a more normal looking guy as their chief. The stick figures are named Dan and Sam after the Microsoft text-to-speech. Sam and Mike and Daniel, the meme voice text-to-speech. So they go through a bunch of, the first episode will be released, but you know, they'll go through a bunch of shenanigans.
Oh, all right. So, This has been a great CCP episode 11. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that hoopla and the sloopla. Most people will probably see this the day after because we tend to get more views on an episode after the fact because people can watch it during the day. So I'm Shannon, your host with the most, the ghost with the close, and eater of all things, not sour cream. This has been Lamp, who's been quiet.
Hello and goodbye.
I'm gender bent Samus. Goodbye.
And we will see you all next time on the next podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.